So yeah, tell me.
Equity at its best.
This is part 3 of our interview with Anne, and the question was, how can we increase cultural understanding in schools?
I met you because I woke up the November 7th and was like, what happened in this world? I cannot imagine this happening. I did not think it was possible. November 9th, I don't know what date I just said.
Yeah, November 9th.
Sorry.
Was the day after.
Yeah, I woke up on November 9th and had not imagined this possibility. And I was raised in this like super diverse, Peaceworks, 38th Street School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I remember Desmond Tutu came and spoke when I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, Nobel Peace Prize winner. And I remember the stories we learned, and they were about inclusion and like respecting people's differences and multiculturalism. And then I went to arts high schools in Roosevelt and Milwaukee High School of the Arts. And I had friends who looked really different from me and did all these different lives and had all these different stories. And then I was abroad for a while, and when I came back to the US, I went to school in Boston and worked in similar schools and was abroad at many different places. But one of the things I realized, and the election helped me realize, is I came to Penn State and I was like, it's a predominantly white institution, like it's just whatever, like I'm just gonna like focus and get my stuff done. Like I'm just gonna get my dissertation done. And then, like, that's my white privilege, right? Because I'm a white person in a predominantly white institution. So I don't really have to deal with race. It's a choice. And that choice is the privilege of it. Because if you're a white man in the world today and you're concerned and you feel like people are beating you down, like if you are low income, people are beating you down for being low income. But that doesn't erase the part of you being a white man, right? Like if you are not able-bodied, like there's something about whiteness and about gender that are really profound kind of categorizations that we have as societies. And I was not a big fan of Clinton, I'm not going to lie. I did end up voting for her. The reason I wasn't a fan of Clinton, though, was kind of the white supremacy, white feminism thing, right? The same problem, but it's a question of degrees. And that's what we talked about with a lot of the people who were wearing the Trump-supporting hats. We talked a lot, like, some of them said, well, Clinton's also racist because she said, she called black people super predators, like in the movie 13th. People who voted for Trump gave that to me as evidence that Clinton is also racist. And my response was, well, yes, that is racist, but let's talk about the depth of the problem, right? Like it's one thing to be a little bit racist, and it's another thing to like be this much racist, and then also like get endorsed by the KKK. Like that's called the depth of white supremacy. Like Clinton, white feminism, it's bad. As a sociologist, I'm applying for jobs right now and finishing a dissertation, and this all just kind of came up and doesn't really exactly fit with what I thought I was doing, but I think it actually really does. But what I was hoping to really get into moving forward is understanding how, have you taken, I don't know if this is jargony or like statistics classes or stuff like that? So have you ever done a class where like they're like, put a dummy variable in for race? Okay. So a lot of times we learn, right, like let's do this regression-based modeling and we're going to make whites the reference category because they're the biggest group. And then there's a dummy variable for blacks, and there's a dummy variable for usually Hispanics because we're not good about saying Latinos or any other labels. And we're going to just not pay attention to Native Americans and all these other groups. And we justify it, I'm also in demography, with the numbers. We say, well, it's a question of numbers. But then we really have to think deeper. Because what we do, statistically, when you control for race, is you erase it. You make it something that you could just mathematically pretend doesn't exist. And so in statistics, and what I'm hoping to find a position in, is in teaching statistics from this like anti-racist intersectionality approach, because we really need numbers, and we need brilliant minds of all backgrounds to use numbers. Like, numbers are power. But we also need to understand that numbers are language, and we can't do statistical modeling that erases people's experiences. We can't say the relationship between a college degree and income in the lifetime is this, and this is controlling. We can say them, and we're better able to make those connections, to feel connections to other groups when we understand that at the deeper level, we're all connected as humans through art and culture and expression. And education can be that transformation we need in our society. 38th Street School wasn't perfect, but it was a really cool experiment. Peace Works was we had like peacemaker badges you could get, but like we had mediation rooms you would go into and learn, and hopefully today, schools, I think there are a lot of smaller schools doing that, but that also needs to have, right, the missing piece there that now I can see, but I couldn't see then, was that they were almost all white teachers. And